Hello, Bill Carroll with Zenny61 Media. I'm going to talk very briefly about some players, but first I'm going to talk about athletic communication staff. I don't think people think enough or thank enough athletic communication staff members. Villanova, shout out to your athletic communication staff. They are professional, they are fantastic, forward thinking, and I think one of the best maintained athletic websites is Villanova's. Obviously, they're a big time basketball program, but whether you're looking at information about their track team, not gymnastics, but name a sport. I guess what I would say. Name a sport: lacrosse, soccer, swimming and diving, tennis, softball, basketball, rowing, golf. As I said, track and field and cross country. Name something. Any of them. Their sites are updated and well maintained. Which, as someone who spends time on researching players, I really appreciate. Their athletic websites are well designed and well laid out. They're informative. You get players' birth dates, lots of great tidbits about the family. Villanova, beautiful. One of my favorites to visit. So I was visiting most recently because I was looking at Shane Hartzell. And do I have a thing for undersized linebackers? Sure, yes. I like those stocky, stumpy little linebackers, the Zach Thomases, the Sam Mills, the London Fletchers. Partially because I was a undersized player myself, sort of, 5'7" and 5'8", and at my peak about 174 pounds, and in my peak of 8.8 body fat, could run just under 4.7-ish at my best date. I think 11.2, 11.19, something like that was my best 100 meters. But this is not the time for me to reminisce. No, the time for me, it's time for me to talk about Shane Hartzell, who I truly believe is another of those players that will have to probably make his way into the NFL as a special teams player. And then eventually will see the field as a linebacker. What works against him, of course, is that the game is spreading out more and more and more. Now, he can run. I don't make it sound like he's ground bound or he's one of those guys that, is not going to be able to play in today's game. But he's playing in today's game now. And he is good against the pass. Last year in 12 games, he had 50 solo tackles, 91 total. So that's 41 assists, 6 tackles lost, 4 sacks and an interception. If you want looking for a game, he had a bunch of good games, but Youngstown State is insane. And that's in a playoff game. Second round of the playoffs, he went absolutely nuts. 10 tackles, also against New Hampshire. As I mentioned, 14, or I was about to mention, 14 against Youngstown State, 7 solos against Lehigh. Also had a sack and 7 tackles against Colgate. 8 versus Delaware, another really good team. 4 solo tackles, 2 assists against Stony Brook. There's not a bad game, really, on tape. He has some games that are outstanding and some games that are solid and good, right? None that are bad. I mean, you look for that, right? Consistency. If you look at him the year prior, in 2022, 11 games, 34 solo tackles, 40 assists. What I love is that he shifted that to go up to 50 on the solo tackle side and fewer assists, because that tells you once he's getting there first. He has always been consistent in the tackle for loss range, right? Gave you 9 in 2022 and still had 6 last year, 4 sacks each year. So only has 1 career interception and 4 career pass breakups, all of them coming last year. So he's improving, and they're using him slightly differently also, but he's improving also in coverage skills. You want to see that continue to grow. Has 1 forced fumble that was back in 2022. This year, I'm thinking he breaks the 100 tackle mark. I'm thinking he gets maybe somewhere close to 60. I'm projecting about 57, 58 solo tackles. I'm thinking probably 6.5 tackles for loss. And maybe he gets that 5 sack mark. Once again, he's really good blitzer. If you can get a 2nd career interception, I'd like that. And maybe if you can double, get another 4 passes defense, maybe you can get to the 5 passes defense line, that'd be great. Force another fumble and maybe recover 1. That's what I'm looking for from him. And, I sort of throw out all those sort of names, those classic undersized linebackers, and he's not quite any of those guys, but there's a place for him. So, as I said, special teams first. Here's what I think. I think if you're a team like the Miami Dolphins, and you're looking for, and once again, it's not because of the Zach Thomas thing, because of what they do on defense, where you have one linebacker who is essentially a more old school type linebacker, a guy who's 238 pounds, and another guy who's essentially almost a tweener between safety and linebacker. Hartzell's testing numbers will give you an idea if he can be that guy. If he runs, for me, the target's about 4.67. For me, anything much above that, if he can be in that 4.7, at least no higher than 4.73, he's got a chance to stick right in that 4.73, 4.66 range. That's all good. Anything faster than 4.66 is gravy. If he comes in at 4.61, I would draft him. Of course, once again, I have certain biases and prejudices, but watch the tape. Watch the tape. Once again, another guy I think is probably ticketed for, say, NFL PA game or the Shrine Bowl, but a huge year, maybe he gets one of those rare FCS invitations to the Senior Bowl. Next player I'm going to break down is a player that I think has a very legitimate shot to get drafted. Now, once again, a little undersized. He's probably 5'11 and 7/8 or something like that, and 200 and, let's say, 89 pounds, maybe 291, 292. But he's a center, so that's not wholly unacceptable. That's Justus Perkins. Justus Perkins is another of those players where if you have certain guardrails size-wise, if you don't like anyone who's less than 302 pounds at the center position, it's going to be possible for him to get to that number. And I think he will eventually get to that number. But, if you're looking for a masher, he's not really your guy. But, I mean, just to put it in perspective, I think Kelsey was 292 coming out. So he's 2 or 3 pounds from there and about the same height. Has played 41 games since he enrolled. So he started literally coming right off the plane. PFF likes him, but more importantly for me, I like him. Really can move, right? They do a lot of they run the quarterback, Tommy Mellott, fair amount. They run a lot of things where he does move, right? He's not one of those centers just fires out. They put him on the move. He can move. He can get out there. I'm not about to call him more, a pouncy brother or something, but he can get out there. He can get out on the edge. He can get on screens. He can get to the second level. He can locate people and he can hit a moving target, right? One of the things I look for, particularly in interior offensive linemen in space, is can they hit a moving target, right? When there's a linebacker or even a safety who's trying to get away from them, can they still hunt that guy down and get their paws on him? The answer is yes for Justus Perkins. Pretty darn good against the pass as well. They protect fairly well. He's just, once again, redshirted his freshman year, but has started ever since. To me, the only real questions are, how will he test? I want to see explosive lower body, especially on a sort of a guy who's a little undersized. If he has that explosive lower body, if he jumps 31 and a half, 32 inches, 32 and a half inches at even the low to mid 290s, that box is checked for me. If he can be in that 8'11 to 9'3 range and broad, that box is checked for me at that point. And obviously, squat numbers are cool. I'm guessing he's hopefully in that 500-pound club as a squatter. But more importantly, or equally as important, is maybe putting on a little weight, but I want to really see him continue to develop in terms of what he does and picking up, games and stunts and late blitzes and things like that. And while he's not bad at it, can he get to that elite level? If he can, once again, it's a guy I would draft. Once again, size, testing, that's all going to come into play. So, those are my 2 players for today. I'll have 2 more for you tomorrow. I'm very excited about both of these players, though. Bill Carroll from Zinni62 Media. And, once again, also happy NFL preseason for those who celebrate it. And I am one of them. Okay, see you later.